6 creators documented their lives on YouTube, but their uploads did not capture the full story that followed. Some came back, others never did. What remained were fragments, videos, records, and unanswered questions. 6 cases, one unsettling pattern. The first was Addison Maalouf. In March 2024, he and journalist Sean Roubens headed toward Port-au-Prince to interview a gang leader. They never reached him. Armed men intercepted them on the road. For 17 days, both disappeared from public view. When Maalouf finally uploaded his account, he was already home. The footage shows the aftermath, not the kidnapping. On March 14, 2024, Roubens was 42 and already a veteran of this kind of work. The Haitian journalist had spent years helping reporters and online creators cover gang violence. That day, he was acting as Maalouf's fixer for a planned interview in Port-au-Prince. Maalouf wanted to meet Jimmy Cherizier, the gang leader known as Barbecue. Roubens had arranged it, and the two set out from Cap-Haitien toward the capital. Before they reached Port-au-Prince, the committee says members of a rival gang intercepted them. That interview did not happen. Cameras didn't stop the danger. According to Roubens, they became part of it. He said armed men made them record videos and appear friendly with their captor. Performing calm was how they got through the moment. The image could look calm. The reality could be the exact opposite. For the next 17 days, that planned interview no longer mattered. Roubens later described a much smaller routine. He and Maalouf prayed together and shared the same basic necessities. Their world narrowed to one task, getting through one day, then the next. Roubens said the captors once offered to let him leave before Maalouf. He refused. By his account, he stayed to help bring Maalouf out. Freedom was offered, but he chose not to leave alone. Both men were released on March 30th. The Committee to Protect Journalists reported that Maalouf's family paid a ransom, although the amount wasn't disclosed there. In a later interview with Voice of America, Maalouf put it at roughly $50,000. That number is his estimate, not an official figure. Maalouf got some equipment back, but not all of it. His camera returned without its memory card. His laptop and other gear were gone. Whatever the card held, it was no longer in his hands. Then he described what happened after his release. Afterward, Maalouf accused corrupt police officers of arranging the ambush. Roubens separately told the committee he believed police had passed on their travel details. Voice of America couldn't independently confirm Maalouf's claim, and the available reporting contains no official finding of police involvement. About a month after his release, on May 3rd, Maalouf uploaded a 37-minute video under the title, "I spent 17 days kidnapped in Haiti." The account came directly from his own Arab channel. Roubens called it the worst moment of his 20-year career. Maalouf said the kidnapping should not define Haiti or its people. Both came home and spoke for themselves. In Utah, Grant Thompson's family got an answer much faster, but he would never return to explain it. On Monday, July 29, 2019, Grant Thompson left the Dixie Springs neighborhood near Utah's Sand Hollow State Park. He was 38 and heading out on a paramotor flight. Viewers knew his work through The King of Random. When his family couldn't reach him, they reported him overdue. The search began that same day. Concern was immediate. A pilot hadn't returned, and his phone kept going unanswered. No one was following a months-old trail. They were trying to reach him. His flight had not ended when his family expected. Searchers had one useful point on the map, the last known GPS location of Thompson's phone. Washington County search and rescue volunteers moved toward it, with a medical helicopter joining the effort. The signal gave them an area. It couldn't tell them what they would find. The search continued overnight. By Tuesday morning, the Washington County Sheriff's Office had located a body. They identified it as Jonathan Grant Thompson from Haringey, Utah. He had been reported overdue less than a day earlier. By then, it was no longer a search, it was a recovery. Lieutenant David Krause told Kassel that foul play had been ruled out. The sheriff's account described a fatal aircraft crash, not a crime. For Grant's audience, the change was abrupt. On Monday, he was missing. By Tuesday morning, the search had already ended. Detectives recovered his paragliding equipment, including a video recorder. They said they were reviewing the recorder to learn what caused the crash. Kassel did not report what it contained or whether any footage was released. The first channel upload afterward lasted 1 minute and carried the title Grant Thompson in Memoriam. Its description announced his death, thanked the audience, and asked people to honor him with a random act of love or kindness. The message wasn't an explanation, it was a goodbye. A longer tribute followed, built from messages by fellow creators. The channel described an outpouring of love from people who had known or worked with Grant. The channel let those people speak for themselves. Together, their messages showed the community that had grown around Grant's work. The whole interval fits inside 2 days. Grant flew on Monday. His phone was located, the search continued overnight, and recovery came Tuesday morning. That brevity doesn't make the loss smaller. Before a second night began, the case already had a confirmed answer. In Nevada, Kenny Veach left behind the exact opposite problem. His case stayed open for years afterward, while an older hiking video kept pulling viewers toward a place police never named. On October 18, 2014, Kenneth Veach uploaded a video called M Cave Hike to his YouTube channel. Near the beginning, he stands beside an old mine structure while the camera looks across a wide Nevada basin. 23 days later, police say he was last seen. Its description says Veach was searching for a weird cave he had found on a previous hike. That matters. This video shows him retracing an earlier trip, not setting out on the trip after which he disappeared. Then he introduces the hike in his own words.
Here I am on my hike up here in the mountains north of Las Vegas.
The footage follows him through scrub, dry slopes, narrow rock walls, and abandoned mining remains. At one point, the camera pauses on a desert tortoise. It looks and sounds like an ordinary hiking upload, full of the small observations that make a day outdoors feel specific. Veach appears on camera, points across the hills, then turns the lens back toward the ground ahead. The route is visible only in fragments: a mine structure, a ridge, a patch of rock, open desert. Together, those fragments give the earlier trip a shape viewers can follow. The police timeline begins somewhere more ordinary. Las Vegas Metropolitan Police lists Kenneth Veach, 47, as a missing person cold case. It gives November 10, 2014 as the day he was last seen. The last setting named in the summary is a movie theater. Veach told his former girlfriend he was going camping. After that, she never heard from him again. The police summary does not identify which movie theater. It gives no final route. It ends at the exact point where an ordinary plan became a disappearance. Once the police trail stopped, the older journey was still there to replay. That upload filled the empty space, with its title supplying a ready-made center for the mystery. For viewers, the M Cave was easier to picture than Veach's unknown final destination. The upload never identifies the cave's location. More importantly, LVMPD does not name the M Cave or any cave as Veach's destination on November 10th. That connection came from viewers, not from the cold case summary. Stories grew around the same gap: suicide, paranormal forces, and Area 51. None appears as a finding in the Las Vegas police summary. That may help explain why the story spread so widely. it does not explain what happened to Veach. The old video still matters for a different reason. It shows Veach as a person making a video, not simply a face on a missing person card. He walks rough ground, frames the landscape, and stops when something small catches his attention. What happened after the movie theater remains invisible. There is no authenticated recording from the final camping trip, no official route, and no public explanation for where contact ended. The earlier hike survives in motion. The later trip does not. Only a date remains, and a few lines of text. More than a decade later, Las Vegas police still carry Veach on the missing person cold case page with no resolution. Its last confirmed account ends with a camping plan, and Kenneth Veach has not been found. Marina Joyce also vanished from contact, but she came home safe. By then, speculation around her old videos had created a different problem. On Wednesday, August 7th, 2019, 22-year-old YouTuber Marina Joyce was reported missing in London. Police said she had last been seen on July 31st. By the time the public appeal appeared, a full week had passed without a confirmed sighting. That timing matters. When police announced she was safe on August 10th, 10 days had passed since Joyce was last seen. But the public case had been open for only 3 days. Most of the first week passed before police were alerted. Months earlier, Joyce was still making familiar videos for her audience. A hair routine went up on April 4th. How to Become Spiritual followed on April 11th. Both clips show Joyce in familiar rooms, speaking directly to her camera. Once the appeal spread, viewers went back through old videos. They treated expressions, pauses, and room details as possible clues. But those clips were older. None came from the week covered by the police appeal. The police appeal itself was far simpler. Joyce was missing from Haringey. Inquiries were underway, and anyone with information should call. On August 10th, Haringey police posted the update everyone had been waiting for. Marina had been located and was safe and well. 3 days after the missing person report, the public search in London was over. 3 years later, Joyce described it this way in her own retrospective.
I didn't actually go missing, it's just my parents were worried for me. It got really out of hand.
The full video, Saving Marina Joyce, My Story, was published in December 2022, long after police had found her safe. Joyce came home safe, and years later, she chose how to tell her story. Mark Nichols, known online as Hobo Shoestring, left behind a different archive. Months of travel footage, followed by a silver alert that gave no direction of travel. On March 31st, 2024, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation issued a silver alert. It named 53-year-old Mark Shoestring Nichols. Online, people knew him as Hobo Shoestring, a creator usually seen moving through the world. The alert opened with the opposite, no known direction of travel. 2 months earlier, Nichols uploaded a video from a winter camp. There was no studio. Around him were woodland, a low shelter, and the equipment he carried. The title was direct, Winter Storm Camp, Waiting for a Train. The January 19th footage lingers on practical details. The camera points toward the forest floor. A hand checks a round piece of gear. A tarp sits between bare trees. Later, the camera turns toward Nichols himself. His videos made a temporary place feel lived in. On February 19th, he followed it with campfire travel stories and cooking. The footage moves from a tightly packed bag to small pieces of equipment. Later, it moves back through the woods until Nichols faces the lens. Viewers weren't watching a presenter describe travel. They were traveling beside him. In that February upload, Nichols briefly pointed out the railway beside camp.
Where the train will stop, there's the tracks
These were ordinary channel days, weeks before anyone reported Nichols missing. They show how he worked and traveled, but they end before March 27th. The official story begins there, in Johnson City. TBI said Nichols was last seen in Johnson City on March 27th. The alert named no station, train, road, or destination. It gave the public one city, one date, and 2 photographs. They were a formal portrait and a closer image of the man viewers knew from his videos. 4 days passed before the silver alert moved the search into public view. It used both names, Mark Nichols and Shoestring, and asked anyone with information to contact Johnson City Police or TBI. For an audience used to seeing him outdoors, the still photographs felt unusually fixed. For days, the alert produced no public lead. Then the case moved away from rails and camps altogether. The next confirmed place was Boone Lake. Yahoo later republished a WJHL report. It said fishermen found a body there. Johnson City Police then confirmed it was Mark Nichols. The silver alert would not end with a safe return. That left a location, but not a final journey. The alert started in Johnson City. The outcome came from Boone Lake, and nothing in Nichols' uploads connects those points for viewers. Those earlier videos are now the clearest record of Nichols as viewers knew him. They show him checking his camp, walking through the trees, and speaking directly to the camera. Nichols' public timeline is brief. Johnson City on March 27th, a silver alert on March 31st, and later identification at Boone Lake. Elliot Eastman's case left a much longer trail of official updates and creator footage. 6 days before police said he was abducted, Elliot Eastman opened his subscriber update like this.
I just wanted to make a video today on my journey to 1,000 subscribers.
The video was uploaded on October 11th. 6 days later, regional police reported an abduction in Sibuco. It identified the victim as 26-year-old American Elliot Eastman. Police said 4 armed men had shot him in the leg. Those men had taken him away. Those earlier weeks are also preserved. One video names the coast off Sitio Tungawan. Another shows Eastman going into the ocean, joking about the water and filming the sunset. In those clips, daylight gives way to a pink horizon over the water. Eastman films himself at close range. Then he turns toward the shoreline. People cross the rocks in the distance. The camera stays on the coast. It is an ordinary afternoon, preserved before the case began. That sequence ends on October 11th. On October 17th, the channel timeline goes quiet and the police chronology begins. From that point forward, Eastman's own footage no longer moves the story. The updates come from investigators. For nearly 2 weeks, police announced no location for Eastman. 13 days after the abduction, on October 30th, PNA reported that 3 suspects were in custody. Police had also filed complaints for kidnapping and serious illegal detention. Eastman was still missing. The case changed on December 5th. After more than 5 weeks, regional police told PNA that witness accounts had changed their understanding of the case. They believed they now knew what had happened during the abduction, even though Eastman still had not been found. Police said witnesses had told them Eastman died during the abduction and that his body was thrown overboard. PNA reported that conclusion from regional police. Eastman's body had not been recovered. The account came from witnesses, not a physical identification. On January 9th, 2025, PNA reported that police had arrested Jakaria Jamani on a warrant for kidnapping and serious illegal detention. Authorities called him the alleged mastermind. The arrest was another development in the case, not a verdict. Several of his public uploads remain reachable, including Sibuco. the ocean swim, and the journey to 1,000 subscribers. That final video is dated October 11th, 6 days before the abduction. His body remains unrecovered. Nothing about the upload sounds like a goodbye.